It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Avalos. And now, let's dish.
Hey everyone, happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to Dishin Days, where we give you a full recap of Peacock's award-winning #1 soap opera, Days of Our Lives. And to start off, you can follow us on social media at Dishin Days Show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on X and Threads. Or you can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And if you are watching us on YouTube, do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you can be notified when we upload any and all new content. And also, if you do not know, we have an exclusive members page that we started. Actually, we're going to hit I was thinking about this earlier. We're going to hit 6 months in April.
Already?
I know. We started in November. Yeah, we'll hit the 6-month mark. If you're not a member, we have a ton of stuff on there. We have a lot of exclusive videos with the cast in studio, where we visit studio and just had a lot of fun with them. So we have that before we release it on our general page. It premieres there for a little while. We also have extended videos of my segment, Those Are the Days Extended, and then Araceli has a segment called Tia Says, where she dishes out some auntie advice to some of our Salem residents. We also do, which is a lot of fun. Every other month, we alternate between a virtual happy hour and a After the Dish, where we come on after the show and stay a little while longer and just kind of dish about the plot lines and what's going on.
If 2 hours enough, 2 hours of us isn't enough, we do an extra half hour of this.
Yes, it is a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun. Our VIP members are really funny and great, and but no holds bar with their opinions. So it's a lot of fun to kind of come on and just continue the conversation, whether it's our After the Dish or
whether you want it or not. You got it.
Yes, no one is shy, and it's a safe space, so no one is shy. But yeah, so that's $4.99. Please, think about joining that. It's again a lot of fun and a lot of good content.
And then on days like today, you have a chance to ask, if we have a guest, you have a chance to ask questions live and not in person, but live to our guests. So
yeah, it's another one of our perks. So yeah, join our members only page. And then we have our friend and former co-host, Mr. James Lott Jr., JLJ Media at YouTube, where he covers Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and General Hospital, in addition to all his original audio dramas that he does. So go check out James Lott Jr.'s page. And last but not least,
the King of Inglewood. Oh, sorry.
What?
I said the King of Inglewood.
Yes. And last but not least, don't forget to tell us your thoughts, and we want to hear want to see your comments in the thread. We will, of course, highlight those. And if you have any questions for our esteemed guests this week, please put it in the chat. And if we have time, we'll get to them today.
Put it in the chat in all capital letters.
Yes,
so
a lot.
We can see it amongst all the other chatter.
And that is it for church announcements. We brushed through those because we want to get to our esteemed guest we have today. It is actually her first time on the show, surprisingly, but she's a dear friend to the show.
Yeah.
We love her. She is so talented and just has an amazing, read or command of her character. And she's just a lot of fun, even outside of Salem and Days of Our Lives. The lovely, the talented, please welcome Miss Tina Huang.
Ooh, man, you guys made me sound so good.
Welcome, Tina.
Hi.
We like to make you feel special for taking time
every Sunday.
I know,
right?
A little mea culpa for not having you on the show earlier, where we're like, I feel like we see each other a lot, and actually all three of us are kind of in the same neighborhood. So yeah, I think we see. I definitely see you and Mickey sometimes walking on.
Oh, you do?
I do. And I've actually passed you guys once where I went back and was like, wait, was that Tina and Mikey? I was like, oh, wait. And then it was too weird for me to yell and scream. And I was like, I don't want to throw her off. But it was like, next time I see them, I'll be on the lookout.
Well, and I don't know, maybe you guys are the same. When I'm walking, I usually have conversations in my head. Like Justin and I, like I was walking down to Target, he was walking the opposite direction. And I was still working at the time, and I was just taking a break, and I was thinking about work something and what I should write or what I should do and I was so focused. Justin walked by me and said hello twice and said, hey, and and then like the second one, as I was like, oh wait, hi, yeah. So yeah, maybe that's happened to us and we don't know it. Who knows?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I grew up in New York City, so for me, it's like when I'm on the street, I go into like that zone, the blockout zone.
Yeah. Only Hollywood was Hollywood. Yeah.
Tina, I want to start. So you have been playing Melinda Trask for quite a while now. I believe you started in 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, and I was actually asking Justin. I was going through like some of Melinda's, Melinda's shenanigans, and I was like, was Tina playing her when this happened? And it was like right before you took over the role. But then just Googling, I saw, is it true that you were on the show one episode in 2008?
Yes, it is 100% true. It was one of my very first jobs. It may have been like because I moved to LA in 2007, I think it was. And so I played Josie Jordan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Reporter. Yep. Yeah.
A reporter. Have we talked about this before, Justin?
I actually know that fact because when I was doing the like Day of Days trivia stuff, I had that as one of my, because I was doing a whole like doppelganger thing. Okay. And I don't think I did it with Tina and Stacy when I interviewed you guys, but I think I did it for another group. I think it maybe it was like Elia and Galen, but I was doing like a doppelganger game in all the people who played multiple roles on the show. And that fun fact came
I did do I did like a minor deep dive. Like I did a shallow end deep dive, like trying to find like a screen capture or a video, and I found nothing. I found a screenshot of you that looked like it was from Days. It was from something else though.
What was it? Do you know?
Oh, no, now I don't. It was 2 hours ago. So that's,
it's
in and out. Yeah. 44 years old just doesn't, hold like it used to. But did that, I know that was, 12 years apart, but did casting in 2020 remember you from that? And did that have anything to do with you getting this new recurring role?
I don't, not to my knowledge at all. But Marnie, I think I met her a long time ago at one of those, when they used to have casting, what are they called? Workshops.
Yeah.
And I came in and read for her, and it went well. And then she called me into the office, and that's how I auditioned for Josie. And then I got that role, and then wasn't around for a while. And then this was a totally separate opportunity that just popped up in February of 2020, I think it was. So yeah, I think it's unrelated. Right. I should ask Marnie actually.
So February of 2020, that was like right before things. So did you start and then stop right away?
That is 100% how it went. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I think we shut that first. My last day at work was like March 13th, I think it was, or March 12th, right before. Yeah, we shut down. Yeah.
You believe it's been 5
and then
years.
and then it was like not knowing any of the other actors, because we were, we'd come in and do our scene, and then we'd have to, quarantine into our dressing room. So definitely an interesting way to learn the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, weird way to come on it. And
yeah. But now we're all like great family. I love everybody. They're all so cool, man. I can't love this cast anymore. Everybody's just so amazing, generous, kind, funny, all of the things, all of the nice things.
You do seem to have a rapport with anytime you're paired with someone at Day of Days, or even when you came to our anniversary, the rapport amongst the group is just so, it's so, I don't know if I want to use the word refreshing. Not that I've been around a lot of,
you say it.
but you almost, as a fan, you want the cast to get along. You don't like to hear that people are at odds with each other. So it's nice to see that you guys are kind of like a extended family,
Yeah, and what's really amazing is there's no divas. That's the other thing that's amazing. Everybody's just so generous with their time and attention and kindness. I mean, the fans are right to love the people on the show, because everyone really is a genuine human being. So I love it there. Really, really. Yeah.
Nice.
Lucky. Very lucky.
Tina, I got to ask you about these latest scenes. We've talked about it on the show of you and Susan Seaforth Hayes just kind of going at it. And I'm trying to remember. I don't think you've shared many, if any, scenes with her in the past, but just seeing you two kind of go at it, sort of attitude to attitude, has just been a delight. What's it been to work with What's it been like to work with Susan?
Well, first of all, she's a legend. So it's amazing to share the screen with her and share scenes with her. And she's so in tune, man. She's so with you in the eyes. And it's easy to like just really get into character and really just, bat back and forth. It's super fun. It's intimidating also because it's like, this veteran person that's been on the show and has such a storied history and a rich history on the show. And Melinda's just kind of like this bat out of hell bitch. You know what I mean? With a heart of gold. Coming in, but to go head to head like that, but it's definitely really exciting to share screen time with her for sure. I loved it. I loved every moment of it.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember if she's raised her voice to you in character. She had a scene with Peyton this week where she yelled at him and he didn't flinch, and I as a viewer like jumped out of my seat. So I can only imagine what it's like in person, but you've managed like the scene I just want to bring up last week, and I kind of coined you this, and as a younger I don't want to say prettier, but like just a younger version of Dorothy Zbornak from the Golden Girls, because of
I'm the
Arthur, but younger and more glam
in attitude and stuff.
The attitude, the deadpan delivery of like the sorry, I blinked.
Yeah.
I was like, it's just so Days is a comedy, or I'm sorry, excuse me, Days is a drama, daytime drama. You bring a little bit of comedy to it, and I feel like looking at your past work, you've done all many genres, but how do you bring that kind of comedy to this kind of chaotic, dramatic show?
That's funny. I love that you bring that up. I love finding the comedy in the scripts, and not necessarily because I'm trying to make it a comedy. I think really it's about being a human being. Sometimes the most deeply uncomfortable things is what you cover with a laugh, or with a joke, or with your wit, or with, to skirt around the consequence. You want to use your humor. And I just really, I love that about the show. Just finding those moments where I can just be like, listen, it's all heavy right now. Let's lighten this up. But also there's a little piece of me too that feels like, because the drama is so big on the show, it's just so delicious. So I think of everything as like a delicious bite. You know what I mean? So even in that, there's just a little bit of humor, like it doesn't have to be, does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, I always want to honor the writing and honor the writer's intentions and the producer's intentions. But if I can add a little bit of my little sass spice in there, I'm going to do it, pepper.
You do it well. And it really, it's part of it, I think, is your timing too. It's timing, and it's just knowing what to punch in what you're saying, and the way you emote, it just all comes together very nicely. It's made Melinda Trask one of my favorite characters. Always enjoy when she pops in, even when she's stealing babies and whatever. And very enjoyable to watch. When you took this character in 2020, you were a recast. One of the better recasts I've seen in my time watching. Did you take any notes from the previous predecessor, or did you kind of like look at the character? And because you're very, I've noticed like you're Tina, and there's Tina and then there's Melinda.
Yeah.
There's a vast difference in the two. Like even in the way you speak when you're playing Melinda, like maybe lower your voice a little bit. Tell us how you looked at this character and how you kind of developed Melinda into what she is.
Oh wow, these are like deep. Like,
sorry.
I love it. Are you kidding? I'm a Scorpio. I love to jump right in. No, I love it. This is the actor studio. No, I unfortunately, I actually didn't even realize I was a recast at first, to be honest with you. So I approached it just like I would any script. I read it. I looked for the clues. I read the pages where they were talking about my character. And I just thought about really the stakes, like what is at stake for this character? And that brought her, for me, in a much more heightened place. What was interesting is that she's so justice oriented. She's so justice centered. And then I stole a baby.
Right.
But that's like the lovely surprise about working on a soap, is that you now have to find, none of us are the same as when we were teenagers, right? I hope I'm not, but finding those moments where you're like, what would change a person? Like, what would make somebody make a shift like that? And it's really just mining the clues from the writing and hearing how everyone else talked about Melinda, which was not very nice. And then I had to think about, okay, how do I make this what is my driving force? Like, what's driving Melinda? And that again was the justice piece. And also at the time it was about losing Haley was, even though I didn't get to play through those scenes, I imagined what those scenes were. I would have loved to play those scenes. And I'm sure Laura Kai-Chen did an amazing job. I didn't get to see those episodes. But just imagining those stakes of losing your daughter, your one daughter who believed she was your sister, I think it was.
Sister daughter, all in a day, all in a day of Salem. Yeah.
Yeah. That was my approach. That was really my approach, to just play the stakes of the situation. Are you having a cocktail?
Again?
Are you having a cocktail?
No.
You never know with us. Sometimes
it's not a cocktail. I promise. I'm not Araceli over here. It's sparkling water and brisk. What did I buy? Strawberry melon juice.
Oh. Ooh.
However, later on there may be a little poured into it, but right now, no cocktail.
I was going to say I wasn't going to judge you either way.
I know. You never know with this show, right? Yeah.
With Melinda, I don't know if this is from life or the props started giving me, because I noticed I was in bars. There was a moment when I started being in bars, the character, and then like at the bistro, all these different things, and I ended up with a martini. And I was like, how do they know this about me? Right. Exactly what I drink.
Okay, and so continuing the Golden Girls trend, that's your Blanche Devereaux. That's your Blanche Devereaux personality right there. Yeah.
The irony is, I think all of those actresses were probably around my age when.
Right. I know they weren't that much older than us when they started that. It's so funny to think back then, like how people dress and how people were received.
Yeah.
They were like early 50s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so crazy.
I want to. I just want to. You mentioned something, and I thought of a scene that I wanted to bring up, and you actually mentioned, Melinda lost her daughter. Yeah. Something you didn't get to play, but you did think about. Maybe how you would play it, or how that, how you brought the character to life. There was a scene during the baby switch storyline, a very poignant scene that, was nice to see. It was kind of in the midst of all this chaos, and it was just Melinda and the baby, and I think they were in a hotel room.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the baby wasn't real or whatever, but you just came across, and it was one of those scenes where, you're watching the show and it comes on and you can't take your eyes off the scene, and you really take it in. Did you go back to what you were thinking before about Melinda and Haley? Did you bring that energy to that scene? Because you really just brought, and you felt like, oh my gosh, this is a mother who lost a child and is trying to help another mother.
Yeah.
So how did that?
Actually, that's funny. I actually wrote our showrunner I wrote Janet at one point, just to talk, Janet Drucker, about like why I would do this, because I had been so justice oriented, and a big part of it. Thank you for noticing. That's incredible for you to even bring that up. That was a big part of it. It was this: I want to protect this child. I want to give this child the best opportunities that I wasn't able to give my own daughter, and losing my own daughter, and what it would mean to keep this baby away from someone I think is so dangerous. And at the time I was thinking EJ is a monster, EJ is a monster in my book, in Melinda's book.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. It's very, very perceptive of you to notice that. I appreciate that very much because I did pour a lot of that into it. Yes.
I think we all, I remember, the show we did after that week had aired, and I think we all made note of it because it was kind of a standout scene, just kind of at the end of the episode, and it was just very, very poignant. So a highlight of that storyline. Justin, sorry.
No, kind of piggybacking on that, I think it's funny you say Justice being so linked to Melinda. We sort of think one of the sort of best things they did for the character is break her out of the DA role a little bit. And I feel like she was in a little bit of a box there. And we have been saying on the show for years, like, let's give Melinda some more stuff to do. Let's integrate her more into different storylines. And why doesn't she have a best friend? Why did we know the stuff with Haley, which we're always like, we're always bringing someone back. We're like, Haley's not dead. Kristen has her on ice somewhere. Like, she's going to come back. We're like, where's, give Melinda a brother. Why doesn't she have a love interest? So it was really just pleasantly surprised to sort of see them give you that stuff with the baby switching. And now one of my favorites to see you now with like Ava and Kristen and amongst the women and kind of, I call it like I wrote it down. I call it sort of like the women of DeMera or the reign of DeMera women kind of thing. And the fact that it's run by these powerful, take no charge sort of boss women. And it's like, we've been missing that a lot. And I'm glad that they're finally like giving you that. And was there, when it comes to either that or the baby switching storyline, did you just read it in the script, or did a producer sit down and say, we have something really good for you coming up? Here's a little taste.
I don't think they ever sat me down and said that was what was going to happen, but I definitely felt there was a synergy on set with all of the actors. I like to say female actors on set, that there was like this woman power synergy that was happening. Like, why not have these women run the show for a bit, like see what's going to happen, because they wouldn't shy away from stepping into power. And I love, in fact, Martha Madison and I are good friends outside of the show as well. And we've become very good friends, and she's just awesome. And she's always like, I feel like Melinda and Belle cocktails or open their, spin off and have their own like legal operation happening. And it is true. It's like, it's fun to have scenes with other women without talking about either men in the room, issues. So it's cool. It's, what do they call it? The Bechdel test. Yeah. And I think we were passing that for a bit. So it was fun to definitely live that out. And I feel so honored to actually be trusted with that kind of situation. I feel very honored to be, going back to what you were saying, to be trusted to break Melinda out of the DA role. It is scary especially in daytime, to change a character in that way. So for a while it was like, oh, how is this gonna work? And ultimately I think it's great, because I'm just excited every time I read a script. I'm like, what are they gonna have me do this time?
And it so fits with who they have you with. I mean, you and Stacey and Ava and Tamara, it works. Like it's like when you're putting together the dream team, it's like, get so and so over here, put them in scenes together, and it just let them go, and it works.
I'm curious to see how Melinda plays into this hostile takeover that's happening, and how what Melinda's role is going to be, and how she nets out. I'm very curious about. I'm not going to don't speak about it. I'm just
no spoilers.
I'm expressing my curiosity about, because she's a go-getter in her own way. So do you want to do questions now?
Yeah, we'll start now. We have a couple questions from some of our VIP members. We'll first start with Annette coming up here.
Hi, Annette.
Hi, Tina.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Nice to see you. Mine is a two-part question. How does Melinda feel about working for the DeMeras, especially after finding out EJ had Rachel Blake removed from the equation? And would you want Melinda to handle Kristen's legal issues differently?
Oh, wow. Two-parter. Okay. Well, I think Melinda loves working at DeMera, to her surprise. I think I think what's really cool about it is that Melinda is surprised that life can change, that she doesn't have to be so rigid in how she imagines herself. I think she likes the proximity to power, as icky as that sounds. I think the idea of having the levers of power is really exciting to her. And so being at DeMera has been a really refreshing change. And also trying to move forward from the past, letting go of some of her major issues with Kristen and partially with EJ. Do I personally, Tina, wish that she handled Kristen's legal problems better? No, I think Melinda does a good job with Kristen, because Kristen be up to stuff. So the fact that Kristen keeps dodging the proverbial bullet is pretty amazing. I think Melinda does a pretty good job of keeping her out of jail. I mean, she's out of jail right now, right?
Yeah, for the moment, right?
To be honest with you. So I think she's doing it. I think she's doing it right. Do I wish she was a little bit I'm torn, because personally, Tina would be like, don't take the case. Don't take her as a client. Don't take her as a client. But, Melinda, she sees a hard challenge, and she just has to take it. That's what the thing is. She's attracted to that, the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks. I enjoy watching you as Melinda. It's fun.
It's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Annette.
Thank you.
Thanks, Annette. Appreciate it. Oh, sorry.
I'll do it.
Okay, you do it. All right. Next up, we have.
I'm just watching things slide around.
Hello.
Hi.
How are y'all?
Good. How you doing, Jess?
Doing good. Now, my question. So you write, produce, and direct a lot of your own creative work outside of the show, but what are some things you've learned from working on soaps that you take with you behind the camera?
Speed. No. I mean, yes, that's a real thing. I'm so impressed by the crew and all the actors and the level of professionalism on a soap is extremely high. I mean, just because it's just a well-oiled machine. But I think that also comes down to a lot of communication. And I take that definitely into when I'm producing my own work and on my own set, for sure. It's just a clear communication and preparedness for everything. The shot list, the scene breakdown, everything that I need as a director in front of me at the time. And I see that reflected at Days as well, obviously, seeing how people work at that speed. So yeah, that's what I've taken from it. Preparedness.
I love that. No, thanks for answering the question. And I support all of Melinda's wrongs right now. Support her.
Am I winning you guys over today? Because Melinda really does have a heart of gold. I promise you.
I told you.
We love
She's
Melinda.
innocent.
People
She has
love
no
her.
crimes. I support her.
I feel like Melinda's a fan favorite. Like it's not even like a like to hate her. They just genuinely like her. And the kind of take no prisoners attitude, I think, is appreciated. And yeah.
Well, Melinda's more of a dynamic character than just say you're the heroine that's always a heroine, the villain that's always a villain. She's multifaceted, multidimensional, and those are always the characters as a fan I've been attracted to.
That's why I love playing, because I get to do all those things. You know what I mean? Like it's that I appreciate so much those words. It means a lot to me. It really, really, really does. You have no idea.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Stay safe, Chelsea. From there were tornadoes in Chelsea's
Oh
neighborhood.
Whoa. Whoa. What?
So,
Don't worry, they're not bad now. I feel it in my bones, as I told them earlier. It's fine.
She looks out the window and is like, it's fine.
Exactly.
I don't know if I could do that.
I think it's like us with earthquakes. We wait and see like how bad the shaking gets before we actually do something. We're not supposed to do. You're supposed to take cover immediately.
That is true. But a tornado is a funnel of wind you see that goes all the way into the sky.
But luckily you see it coming.
Oh, that's true. You do.
You get the warnings, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you,
Y'all have
Chelsea.
fun.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Safe.
Tina, I want to ask you a technical question here, but those scenes with Julie Dove when you were strapped to that bed, what was that like? We always have fun when we see scenes like that. We're always like we go off into tangents. Like, how do you go to the bathroom? all right, how tight are the knots? You know, why doesn't Melinda kick her in the face? Like we usually go on a tangent whenever we see this sort of interesting, sort of comedic, fun scenes like that.
First of all, I had a ball doing those scenes. I had a ball doing this. Julie was just as sweet as can be, and I just had a great time. I was like, I'm gonna lose my. Can I curse on this? No, I can't. I should.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm gonna lose my shit during these scenes because I would, and I was just like, oh, I'm gonna go for it. It's a soap. Let's go for it. So it was fun. Technically, it was a little hard because they're trying to figure out. We're a 4-camera show.
Yeah.
3 cameras, 4, and then we have the sets. So it's like technically trying to figure out how to be on the bed, tied at that angle, and like it was not a flattering angle for me. I have to say, but that's okay. That's okay. It's about the acting. It's about the work. But it was super, super fun. But figuring all of that out, I leave it to them to figure out how tight were they. They were very tight on my wrist.
Ere they? Okay.
Very tight. And I asked for that because I needed to feel like something was tight. However, the rope to the bed was not tight. So there was some fudging we had to do, and I know again we're working on a very rushed schedule to try to get done, but hopefully we sold it enough. I know there was some feedback.
There's always feedback
on the internet, but yeah, it was a good time. It was really good. I had a fun time doing it. Oh, there is one story. We didn't have an alert, and there was a crazy fire alarm that went off at the studio, and we didn't know what happened, and everyone evacuated to go outside, and I was tied to the bed. I'm like, can someone untie me?
Oh my God.
Dark studio by myself. So they came back in and untied me, but there was no fire. It was fine.
Did the firemen come?
Did they? I can't remember. No, I don't think so. I wish they did.
Aww. Right. That's always exciting when you're at work and then you're like, oh, firemen. Except, Burbank firemen. Who knows? Anyway, sorry, went on a moment there. Chelsea mentioned your other work and how you direct and you create other projects. What are some where else can people see you other than in Salem?
Oh, well, right now I'm actually about to do, I've just cast in, do you guys know South Coast Rep? It's a big theater company out here, regional. It's in Costa Mesa. I'm about to do a play there. Actually just a new play reading. So in their series, May 3rd, I think it is. Okay. I'll be there doing a play reading, 10 Grand by Kate Cortese, directed by Rebecca Ware. Okay. So I'm excited about that. And as far as TV work right now, it's just days, just right now. And I have my own short. It's somewhere on Vimeo. You probably can't find it actually. We won a bunch of I wrote and directed it Dishin directed it. I wrote it and produced it. That one was about my mother passing away. Sorry, that's sad. No. Was how I was dealing with my grief. Yeah. And that went to a bunch of festivals, won a few awards, which was really great. And that one's called Sheen, which means heart in Mandarin. Mm-hmm. And I'm right now in post-production for a short I wrote and directed last June. And that'll be coming out soon too, probably on the festival circuit though, but not anywhere you probably won't be able to put it online for a while. So yeah, I've also like written and directed a few other things that are out there on the internet somewhere, but you'd have to probably do it.
Where'd your love of theater come from? I know you're always you're promoting play or patron of the arts. So yeah, with that.
Yeah, I went to theater school. I would say I went to. Do you guys know LaGuardia Music and Art Performing Arts in New York City?
Yeah.
Where I went. And I just, theater was this like perfect escape for me. I was kind of a troubled kid. And New York City is a tough place to grow up, and theater basically saved my life. I'm not going to lie about that. Theater saved my life. And I just loved just being someone else for 2 hours, you know what I mean? And then throughout the rehearsal process and really tapping in to that sense of empathy, which I think is every actor's superpower, is their sense of empathy and compassion. So I got addicted to that, I think when the first time I did a play, I had this like outer body experience where I could be out of my own garbage, you know, whatever's here in my psyche, and just be somewhere else, transported, and use my imagination. And theater, and World Theater Day was just a few days ago. It just engaged my imagination in a way that I needed as a young person. And I went on to theater school. I went to NYU, Tisch School of the Arts, and I studied acting, directing, and design. And after college, when I came out to San Francisco, California, I was doing a lot of theater up there. And then I came down here and started a theater company with a bunch of people called Ammunition, which is still around today. And I'm also part of I Am a Theater Company here in Los Angeles. And both of them have been amazing experiences. I think it's so important to have a strong community of artists that are, they have different points of views and come from different places for you to gather, especially in times, in any time. But when you're feeling alone or depressed or whatever, or feeling like helpless in your life in general, getting out and being in community is so key to moving forward. And theater has really helped me see that, experience that, and want to pay it forward to folks, you know? So yeah, that's why I have a deep, deep, deep love for theater, for sure.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I think we got a question from Tony, who's in the chat, who couldn't be here, but is in the chat.
Tony!
So your dream role in theater, it can be a musical or a play.
Oh, you know what? I would really, really love to play Lady Macbeth.
I was just going to say you'd be great at Lady Macbeth. I was just thinking that.
I think it's a really beautiful role to play. And also think, I mean, she's a little close to Melinda, but for someone a little bit different, Desdemona. And that's Shakespeare. I mean, I can't think of, at the moment, it escapes me, any kind of modern plays. I work on a lot of new works, new plays with new voices, rising voices in the American theater scene. So, which is exciting. It's hard for me to think of what a dream role. Oh, Tony, you stumped me. Lady Macbeth.
Lady Macbeth is pretty good. I mean, that's that's pretty good. Pretty good.
Anybody want to do an Asian woman as Lady Macbeth? Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
We have a couple questions in the chat here. I'm scrolling up to find, since we can't bookmark them, I have to look for the all caps. Remember I said all caps? Before we say all caps.
Did anyone listen?
While he's looking, I want to ask what those scenes we had maybe now 2 years ago we had the whole Melinda Stefan dynamic. Like working with Brandon, who's a character in and of himself.
My gosh, he's just the best. I wish I had something like some tea to tell you guys. I mean, just like everyone's so nice. No, Brandon, I loved doing those scenes. Just, it was also a chance to really lean into the comedy for me.
Yeah.
Like Melinda's like, what's at stake here? I can totally fun. And then at the same time, it's really fun to develop a crush on Stefan. But yeah, I really, really, really loved working with Brandon. He's just a great actor, kind person. And then we discovered we had like mutual friends outside in common. Yeah. He's just a good guy, really good guy.
Yeah, it was funny because that was something where they dropped it when I think maybe Tyler, may have been playing it at the time, where you two met at the bar, and then they sort of like dropped it and left that, and it was like, oh, this would Melinda and Stefan could be interesting, and then they didn't bring it back until a couple years later, and it was it's interesting. I mean,
I get that question. Just talking about that, I get questions a lot about Melinda's love interest. It seems like people really want Melinda to have a little love in her life.
A little something, a
little something.
It doesn't have to be love. It can just be, Mr. Right Now. They tried it with Lee Shin, and
did. Oh, and he was so nice. Remington is so nice. He's a good guy. Gentlemen.
We would say like Lee Shin like tried to be bad. Like Remington did a good job of this good boy trying to be bad. You know what I mean? And it just like, we're like, Lee Shin, you just lean into your good side. Don't lean into the bad side. But he did it well. Yeah. And he was lovely when we met him at Day of Days.
I did have hopes for that relationship, actually. I did have high hopes for that because I thought that would Yeah,
you guys had a good rapport, and then you had a little rivalry from, you know, again, the oh God, her name just left my brain.
Sloan.
Connie.
Oh,
Connie. And yeah, Sloan.
Oh, Connie. Yeah. In Connie's head, yes, most of it took place.
Most of it in Connie's head, yeah. One of our regular viewers, Debbie Bright, wants to know what's the funniest behind the scenes part? What was the funniest part of the Melinda hostage scene? You kind of described the fire drill and being left to, you know, fend for yourself. But was there anything else memorable about that, or something that just happened, or a folly that sticks out in your mind?
No. I mean, no, the only thing I could think of was just like, I was like, can I get tied a little tighter to the bed? Like, we're like, how bad do you want to be tied to the bed? I'm like, I want to be really tied to the bed. So we did have a lot of back and forth with that, because I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm a method actor, but you know, I like, maybe I like to torture myself. I don't know. No, that whole storyline was really fun, I have to say. And then like getting tied to
the chair when you were at the ferry,
in the basement.
Yeah.
And I have to share this story. When makeup and hair had to put the bandage on me, again, not a flattering look. Not they were giggling off camera, and I didn't care because I thought it was funny. And I was like, really? And I was like, we're gonna blow up. And I have this crazy thing. And every time I spoke, the bandage went coo, 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 coo. So I had my own head, the bandage was like up here, the hair was like this. And everybody was kind of laughing off stage, and they took screenshots.
Oh my God.
Afterwards. And I was like, I laughed so hard. I then shared that picture with all of my friends. Look what's happening to me.
This is my work. Yeah. You got to work with so many people as when Melinda was the DA, just interacting with so many different characters. Is there someone you didn't get to interact with, or someone you were like, oh, this dynamic is interesting. I like it if we had a storyline, or, you know, I got to do more of it with this person?
You know, I really love doing scenes with, I mean, honestly, everybody. I haven't had scenes with Brian Datillo. I've maybe one scene with him very early on. I haven't had scenes with Chad. Billy. There's a lot of people I haven't had scenes with, but I was just reviewing a lot of footage recently, and I was like, wow, I've actually intersected with a lot of people's stories. Yeah. But I would love to continue to have scenes with Dan, with EJ. I would love to have more scenes with Belle. I would love to have scenes with, I mean, just about, I mean, everybody, you know. I would love more, actually, I would love more scenes with Stefan. You know, that character, and because of the history you mentioned, you know, this is all in my fantasy. I'm not giving any
no
fantasy, you know. It would be great to be able to share for Melinda and Stefan to sort of button up that relationship. Yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I'm trying to. Yeah, no, I feel very happy with what's happening. Though I could always use more.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I was thinking about that earlier, because usually, you know, sometimes you get segmented into your own storylines and they recur. But I was like, oh, being the DA, Melinda has had a lot of interaction with a few different people, more so than maybe you would have if you did it. Yeah, I think being the DA has, but really when I went on board with DeMera is when it really like is like, oh, I'm in the world with this whole other section of people. Yeah,
so that's been really interesting to see what those dynamics are. I love doing scenes with Stacy. I love doing scenes with Eric Martzoff. I'm the worst. You asked me for a favorite, and I'm always.
No, that's great. I mean, it shows on screen, I think. Definitely. Michael, are you?
Can you see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me?
No, we can see you now. I think you were stuck for a minute there. We were like, what's
all of a sudden I saw my internet go from like the button just drop off, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. But I think I'm back now. So
yeah, you're back. Good.
There's a little bit of a delay. Your words are coming faster than your lips.
Oh, it's usually the opposite.
I was like, did I say the words right just then? I wasn't sure.
You never know when it's I mean, it's someone's internet's always going out, or there's always a delay.
Yeah.
Good old West Hollywood, it's always it's always our internet.
Totally.
Justin, you finish while I figure this out. Sorry.
Justin.
Yes.
It's you two now.
Tina, what would you say? What was one of your favorite storylines, or an aspect of a storyline that you got where it was like, oh wow, this is kind of interesting to play or fun, or?
Oh wow, that's so hard. It's all so interesting. I mean, I love the stuff with Lee Shin. I really, really did, because it was like you got to learn a little bit more about Melinda's past, and the stuff. Found that vineyard when she was a teen, when she was like in college, and like finally feeling free. And that's the thing I'm excited about exploring about Melinda. Anytime we learn something new about her, where she does exactly what you said, getting out of the box. I would love that to be a regular thing for her, just to keep breaking the box that she's in. We've had so many moments of that for her. Those moments in the hotel room with the baby, I know it's strange because it's by myself. I'm not saying I just like acting by myself. I really love having a scene partner. I love it. Those moments were really, really touching for me. The scenes I had with Wendy were really, really important, just because it was two Asian women on screen on a daytime show at the same time, and talking about, what it means to have respect for your parents, and just kind of breaking that, and leaning on each other for that. That was a really beautiful moment for me. And I also, just for funskies, I love doing scenes with Greg Rickhart, with Leo, because we're just like with each other, and we both have like really snarky. I was just looking at the christening scenes that we had when we were about to blow it. Calls me Elphaba, and I'm like, okay, and he's talking about the yellow brick road. I'm like, nothing, and not everything needs like a yellow brick road reference. Just the insults that we shared between each other were, I thought, very funny. But I don't remember what the original question was.
No, you answered it. No. It's also been nice to see you the past couple of weeks with the younger set, like Ashley and Peyton, and I feel like they're really coming into their own on the show. They've been around for a little while, but I love when they integrate the younger with people who've been around a little bit longer. It's like integrate them into a main storyline, don't keep them separate. So it's nice to see sort of that dynamic too.
Where are you in this? What's happening now? Right.
You've admitted that you've been questioned by JJ, and you admitted you sold the necklace, or you're telling him you sold the necklace so he gets off your back. Yeah. So that's where we're at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think you're going to see Melinda, traverses kind of all the categories, which is really fun. I mean, I feel lucky to get to play with all the this incredible ensemble of actors that we have. And to get a chance to play with each one of them is really, really just a joy and a pleasure. So, yeah.
So can you hear? Am I everything?
You're good.
Okay, I guess had a little hiccup. I'm good now. So, we like to ask this because we don't like to ask for spoilers or what's going to happen. So the way we kind of ask that in a way of not asking it is, well, first, Tony wants to know if Melinda keeps it or gives it back. But
you think, Tony?
Spoilers, so we don't know.
I know. What do you think, Tony?
I think he's saying, should she have given it back?
I don't know. It's funny, when I was reading those scenes, I did think like, well, why am I being such a hard ass about this necklace? And it really, for me, it was really about learning more about Doug. And I knew if I gave up my leverage, I wouldn't know more about where he's coming.
Okay.
So the more I thought about it, I was like, well, maybe she shouldn't give it back. She needs to have a way to. She's curious. Melinda's wildly in everybody's business.
Yeah.
She's curious, right? So I think that's her thing. She like wants to know who is this kid, and why is Leo being so protective, and what's this about? You know what I mean?
She's what we call a tea collector. She
tea.
kept the necklace so she could collect some tea.
That's right. She got a whole box: chamomile, green, black tea. She got all the tea. But yes, yeah, I think that's really what it's about. And also, I was thinking she paid for it.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hers.
I was thinking, I was like, Melinda Trask is being all Erica Jane, refusing to give up this necklace. But the difference is Melinda Trask actually paid for it with her money, and Erica Jane did not. So she didn't. But anyway, different show. Back to the question. We were speaking a little bit about what's ahead for Melinda. If you could sum it up into one word, what would that one word be?
Sum up what? Sum up what?
Oh, what's going to happen with Melinda? Sorry, what's going to happen with Melinda in the near future?
Messy?
Okay. We like messy.
Yeah.
Messy's good.
I'm trying to think on the timeline and where you guys are and what's going to happen.
Yeah. Messy's good. Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, and I would say, can I say one more?
Yeah.
Soft.
Okay. Soft. Okay.
We've seen, like we said, we've seen a little bit of that. We liked it. We like to see more of it. So
yeah.
Nice. Okay, that's good. Perfect words. Yeah.
Well, Tina, we could honestly keep here all day, but we know we won't have it. Sometimes we'll look at the.
I was about to go, can I get a cocktail and come back and meet you back over here?
Yeah, we could do that, right? I know. But yeah, honestly, we want to thank you so much. As you said, we are big fans of the character Melinda. We're even bigger fans of yours. We think you have such a command. Well, Tony said a softer side of Sears. We love it. Honestly, we just think you have such a command of the character that we've been screaming, to the powers that be for years, just to include you more in it and to see more of Melinda and your talent. And I think we're getting a lot of that now, which has been really, really a joy to watch. So thank you for your talent and seeing you on the show, and thanks for being a friend to the show. And supporting us. You're always a highlight. When you came to the 10th anniversary celebration, that meant a lot to us. So,
well, it's a big deal that you've done this show for 10 years. So I was really happy to be invited and to support you guys, of course. And I'm there's what a great Sunday afternoon to spend.
Thank you.
I feel very honored that you welcomed me on here to talk to you and also to maybe meet some fans on here. And
we promise we will have you on before 5 years.
I know.
We'll wait 5 years to have you on.
There's a little mea culpa too of not having you on earlier.
No. And your kind words really mean a lot to me. Sometimes, you're out there and you don't know how people are responding. And I know that I'm doing my best to make Melinda have a big heart, but also be formidable and to be a strong woman. Do you know what I mean? So I want all of those things for her, but to hear that, to get that nice supportive words and those feedback, it really does. It does mean a lot to me. It really does. Yeah.
Oh, our pleasure.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much, Tina. We will see you soon. Yes. Again, not 5 years, but very, very soon. We'll have you on when Tony and Araceli are back. So.
Yes. Hello. Yes. Thank you guys. Do I have a click?
Thanks, Tina.
You got me before I click. You click.
You just close the browser window and you'll be on.
Thanks, Tina. Bye.
Yeah, she did it. Okay, good.
That was nice.
It's fun. Yeah. Silly me always think, it's two of us. We're not gonna take
I know, and then we end up talking. Well, that's what happens when we have a great guest, and it's like
and honestly, I was like, does she want to stay for the recap? But she got a life, so
we'll be here to say. Honestly, we'll see her in the neighborhood probably tomorrow or something, walking.
I know, right? When we're on our walks, yeah.
But yes, we still have a full show to do. So
I know.
Let's get into it, Michael. It is. Actually, I have my very own. Thank you,
Look
Mark.
At you with your own hour. Like I could have bought an hourglass for myself. But
there's a story to this. I'll actually tell you about it later, but I want to say thank you to Mark, our friend. He's probably in the chat. If not, he's at work. But thanks, Mark, for setting. Not only do I have one, but I'll tell you about the story later. There's a story
okay.
to them. But yeah. So yeah, now time to start. Can we do it? 3. Dishin Days.
Oh, we were off.
What does Tony say? I know. Set it and forget it.
Well, and then my internet's being funky, so let's hope we can get through it without going off again.
No, we're good. And to start off our topics, we have Tate the Snitch, and this is of course the Tate, Holly, God, who else was in this? Doug, Melinda, Julie, JJ, Holly, Maggie, Sophia, and Leo to top it off. Was this a surprise for you when Tate sort of got on the phone in a sort of jealous, I don't know, not rage, but
honestly, you know what? I wasn't surprised. I was like, I knew this dude was a punk, and he just proved it. Like, not that, and you know, like he's justifying it that like he was worried about Holly, and you know, I wasn't doing it out of jealousy. I was doing it because you don't know what this guy's doing. I'm like, bro, just. You know, the wheels were already in motion you did not need to do that, but he's a dumb teenager.
Yeah. You have to remember.
But yeah, and you know, I'm not saying that what Doug did was right or anything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm Jen, whatever, Tate. You know what? And now you're gonna have to you know, reap what you sow with your girlfriend.
I know. This definitely surprised me. I was like, oh God, Tate, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't give in. Don't. But yeah, it's that jealousy of getting it. And I was just going to bring this up, how we always talk about, and Tony does too, that he has no right to open his mouth or say anything. And you're right, Tony. He has a nerve to be so bad. Oh, I'm sorry, Tate, you have a baby coming.
And even if he hadn't even if there wasn't a baby, he still dipped his what in some, like, he's not innocent.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not innocent. And yeah, won't take responsibility for his actions, but holds other people accountable for theirs.
Yeah, he was on a bit of a high horse about, like, even doing that notwithstanding, it was a lot of when Kali ended up confronting him, it was a lot of this guy's bad news and blah 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 blah. And I was like, wow, you're really like laying into him being this bad influence in terror in society. I'm like, yeah, again, not a good thing. He stole, he regrets it, but this is all about your jealousy. Like, the guy's fine. He's never done anything to you. Like, I don't know. It was a bit dramatic. And I felt like he was working on all emotion, that when things started to pile on, when JJ came to the door and then Holly sort of told him, you know, it's getting around, and he was sort of surprised by that. It was like, yeah, this is what happens when you let out this information.
Yeah, I think he definitely had regrets about doing it. Will he learn his lesson? Probably not. So Holly figured out from Maggie, who how did Maggie find out?
She went to visit Julie.
Yeah. Oh, because she mentioned Holly. She mentioned Holly, and yeah. The highlight of this for me was Thursday or Friday's episode. We got sassy Doug III giving it back to Sophia when she decided to give him a little sass. He literally turned on his heels and was like, okay, honey, let's see. And I was like, oh, okay, I like this. Because lately, Doug III has just been like so like mopey, kind of woe is me, and I don't know, a switch flipped, and I was like, oh, I want to see more of this, Doug.
I'm 100% with you. This is I agree the same thing. I feel like they've been a little bit too one note with him. I think introducing Holly into the mix has been really good. And this calls for, gives a little bit more drama, but those scenes with Sophia were really sort of like lightning. And part of me didn't want, like, it was a little bit like the bad guys teaming up a little bit, even though I didn't necessarily want that. I was like, okay, they had a little like friction, animosity together. So I was like, okay, you guys are interesting enough. You both really want the same thing. but you don't want to admit it. Like Doug's playing the nice guy and like, I want what's best for Holly and she wants Tate. So, you know, I'm not going to interfere with that. And Sophia is still, you know, she's kind of playing it off as if like my scheming's behind me. I just want to figure out this baby situation, and then me and Tate can go our separate ways. But it was like, oh, you both are so fighting it, and then that tension is sort of rising up here with, you know, you two kind of going head to head. But I loved it. I'm not saying I want them to like team up to break them up. Well, it looks like that was sort of accomplished, but I liked them recognizing each other.
Yeah, for sure. And so that was the highlight of this for me. Are we talking about
also why was Holly asking for Doug's pants and then wouldn't move away? Like, did you see that?
Oh yeah, it was kind of awkward. She was like, take the pants off. She's like, off with the pants.
And then she didn't even do the obligatory like, oh, I'll turn around or I'll go
look away.
Yeah, she was like, I want you.
I give a girl credit. She wanted to cop a look, and she was like, take the pants off. Show me what you're working with.
I was kind of, when she didn't move, I was kind of like, wait, are they going someplace with? Like, I thought like it was getting. I was like, oh, Holly, like, damn, girl.
Tone, would you move?
No, or I would have pretended to leave and did the like look back or like
you would have been like
yeah. Or like you leave and then quickly open the door and like peek in.
Like, oh, sorry, I thought you were done. Oh.
Also, why was she like, you could stay in my bedroom? I'm like, girl, there's like 8,000 rooms in this mansion. What are you talking about? Him hiding?
There's gotta be an open room that he can stay in. No. Okay, Holly. Yeah, Holly feels some kind of way about Doug. She's not acknowledging it.
Yeah.
Holly.
I agree. She definitely is into Doug and doesn't want to admit it. But I think she's been really good about towing the line. Like we see, like in her head, she's reliving when he admitted his feelings to her, and you know, she very much wants to help him out. But I think they've done a really good job of it not being too. She's not so invested in him. She still has like respect for her relationship with Tate.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was a little surprised about her sort of dumping him, but I don't think it was a bad call.
No, it's not like Holly, like you're young.
Yeah.
Tate's got a lot of baggage.
Yeah.
Now, I understand when you have feelings for somebody, maybe your first instinct is to like help them deal with the baggage.
Yeah. Yep.
No, don't just let that resolve itself. Take yourself out of it. Do yourself a favor, take yourself out of it. So no, I don't see anything. I don't have anything against what she did either. Yeah. Like I was like, oh, that's a good call for you.
Yeah.
It's a snitch.
Yeah. And I like the fact that she brought up it like just wasn't that. She's like, okay, we've had the baby, we've had the adoption. And then I thought when she was saying that, I thought even though of course we know Leo Howard sort of came in I guess maybe halfway through about now that we've seen like Doug and Holly since the inception. But I was like, yeah, these two have never had like a honeymoon period. It's been, conflict. It was the drugs. It was the coma. It was their parents keeping them apart. It was Sophia. It was now the baby. Now Doug's here. I'm like, okay, this has all happened in a year, maybe a little bit over a year. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, like I'm down for a little bit of a break with this couple though.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people want to see what could happen between Doug the Third and Holly.
Yeah.
So we'll see if they go that route, or how long the breakup lasts. And then there's still questions about Sophia's baby daddy and if things are on the surface what they seem. Mrs. Choi, I thought I had her game pegged, but I don't anymore. I thought my hypothesis was she was trying to get the baby adopted by Tate so that the baby would have a claim to the family money, family money. But I don't believe that now because she was going to say okay to Johnny and Chanel adopting the baby, but then she obviously flipped when this article came out about the DeMera.
We have that later too. Yeah.
That I was like, are we delving into the adoption?
No, but yeah, I put it in the EJ thing. Yeah, just to it's that. Yeah. No,
a lot of intertwining of storylines this week. So I kind of sometimes it's hard to.
No, and I did like I like that. Again, we talked about this with Tina a bit, but I like Melinda's inclusion in this. Like, it's still. They're going now. She apparently has gotten rid of the necklace. We'll see. I don't know if that was. I couldn't tell if that was a lie or if it was like, let me unload this so I don't have any police attention on me or something like that. So
I feel like we talked about Melinda's we'll call it shrewdness. I think she actually did. I don't think she would lie. I don't think. Now that she knows the history behind it, like Tina said, I think she gathered some tea, went home that night and decided, nope, I'm getting rid of this thing to protect herself. I believe she actually got rid of it. Now, who she sold it to and where the necklace is, who knows? But I believe that she released herself from the equation to protect herself. Yeah. And I don't know the law. Like, I don't know if she's still culpable for anything just by selling the necklace and getting rid of it after knowing the history.
Yeah, it's like a murky gray area of like stolen merchandise, but the person,
I mean,
knows it's
Melinda seemed confident when JJ was trying to question her.
Yeah.
The way she like grabbed her purse and walked out, I was like, okay. Yep.
But no, I like this dynamic. I like her in this mix a little bit. I'm hoping, even if she did sell the necklace, I'm hoping she still continues to be a part of this storyline for a little while. And I like seeing her with. I like the partnerships or the scene partners they're putting Peyton with, because I think we still don't know so much about his character that I think he benefits from being in scenes with like a Holly or a Melinda or a Julie. So.
Yeah, and I appreciated the scene Peyton did with Susan this week, where he was kind of pouring his heart out, and Julie was just not having any of it. But it was very heartfelt, and that came through in the performance. So I thought he had my shining moments of the week. The emotional scene he had with Susan, and then sassy Doug with Sophia. So Good job.
Yeah, I'm interested how this one's gonna go, the Doug Julie thing, because I think I may have even said this last week. I think this is a little different. We know Julie's a forgiving person and all that, and I'm sure eventually she will, but I'm interested to see how this played out because it's tied so much into Doug dying and grief and then him coming in. So I'm like, this may take a little longer than expected, or this might go down a different path than if, say she wasn't a grieving widow at the time, or he sold maybe something that wasn't so tied to the Hortons. This could be because again, we talked about Julie's mentioned her brother Steven and her own past, and so I think she is the forgiving type, but this one hits a little differently. I think
it hits differently, and MeWorld's mentioning she still pokes Gabby about but she still hates Gabby.
Yeah, that's a lot of history there, more than
that's a little different. Yeah. I think my hypothesis is that once the dust settles, and hopefully I feel like inevitably she's going to get the necklace back. How it plays out, who knows? I feel like she's going to get the necklace back, and once the dust settles, she'll soften. Like, she has a right to be angry, a right to throw him out.
Yeah.
Right now, I think she'll eventually soften because of that family connection to Doug, and to keep maybe whatever is left of Doug with her. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. I would like to see her soften, like, have her right to be angry, process her anger, and then maybe, maybe soften a little bit. But the Gabby thing is a whole nother thing. Like, Gabby messed with her heart, like almost killed her.
Yeah, there's so much history with Nick there, and it's or maybe we'll see Doug. Maybe he has a hand in getting it back to her, or maybe that'll be his way back in, kind of a thing,
or there'll be another event or another scenario where he's able to lend a hand or support her, and that's how he gets back in her good graces. Yeah,
I am curious though. I again, we've seen the Julie stuff, we've seen the Holly stuff, but I'm interested in also expanding his character a little bit more now. We see the friendship with Leo, which is nice, but I don't know if they're going to give him this job at the bistro. If so, great. He puts him into sort of Sophia's orbit there, maybe some stuff with Ava. Like let's expand this character too a little bit,
Yeah, for sure. I found that I didn't see that coming, and I don't know why. When he was asking about a job at the bistro, I was like, oh yeah, okay. That didn't just go to the pub, That's usually, I think that's where Ava had a job at the pub for a while.
Right. I was expecting the pub, yeah. So when he came to the bistro, it was a nice surprise there. Yeah, I think that's about it for that storyline. Moving on to our next one here. This one is Alex to the rescue. And this plot, I know. This was kind of cringe, and not in a bad way or anyone did anything bad, but cringe in terms of what the plot was like, this one's interesting.
I just don't. The way Sarah was pressing Stephanie to be like, just say you hooked up a couple of times. I'm like, Sarah.
I know.
Sarah, like, what the? At this point, this is the point where you're supposed to realize, okay, this has gone too far. This is affecting way more people than it needs to. You're fine, and someone outlined it. I think Stephanie outlined it, or Alex outlined it. Like, they have been trying to be a happy couple for so long, and there was like obstacle, drama, they messed up, whatever. This long history of like back and forth, and they're finally together, they're finally happy. There is the outlier of Joy and the baby, which has now been removed from the equation for now, so they can be happy. But it's like this lie that Sarah wants to continue. And it's like, at this point, this is the point where you say, okay, it's gone too far. We need to tell Xander the truth. But of course, Sarah's no longer worried about what Xander is going to do to Philip. That is out the window now. Her motivation is, what is Xander going to do? Not what is Xander going to do to me. I don't think Xander would do anything to Sarah. I don't think he would turn on Sarah that way. He may, but she doesn't want to face her own repercussions for this secret now. It's pure selfishness. It's no longer, I'm afraid of what Xander is going to do, or I'm afraid. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
No,
like,
absolutely.
She's operating off of fear for herself, not physical fear. But like, Xander's going to be angry and leave or divorce her or whatever.
Yeah, I was completely cringing when that Sarah Stephanie scene where she's like, "Can't you just tell him you?"
And at the same time, I was so happy that Stephanie looked at Alex and was like, "Okay, look, here's the truth." Like, and finally was like, "No, I'm not. I'm gonna work for myself here." Like, and
it's also a weird thing too, where with Sarah, I think she's schemed in the past before and had her secrets there, but to do something like this when they themselves are in a state of bliss, in the past it's been about the scheming has had to do specifically with their relationship, and this doesn't. This is her trying to in her mind kind of do the right thing, but she's scheming against her husband. And also the weird role reversal now, where when she was talking with Xander, was like, I didn't necessarily originally believe that you and Philip were getting along this good, but now I see it now. And a part of it, I think, is the guilt, of course, of lying to him. It's the fear of, of him knowing she did this against him, that fear of betrayal, I guess. But also like switching sides with him. Now, like, Xander's the good guy and she's, the scheming one causing trouble in their relationship. It's very, interesting thing to sort of deal with, I think, with her. But no, that was definitely cringe when she literally said to Stephanie, "You can lie, do it for her, do it for our relationship, for our daughter." I was like, "Girl, what?"
I know, girl, what?
Care about it.
Sarah was tripping this week.
Oh my God.
I'm not happy that Alex ultimately decided to go along with it. I wish this would have been the point where somebody let it out, because now you're just continuing. You've added the layer onto it, and now instead of how many people was it? 3 people lying to Xander. Yeah. Now you've added yourself into the equation, and now you're gonna get shit when the secret inevitably comes out. Mm-hmm. And it's messy. It keeps getting messier.
Yeah,
I've never been on board with Sarah trying to keep this secret. And it's, I don't know. I'm team Xander, I guess now. I'm team no one else, because
it's way too messy here. Like and also weird way, this would probably be the best time to tell, because on one hand, in terms of like the business side of it, they're sort of in a precarious situation now where they're trying to take over DeMera. So like, it's sort of like he can't really get rid of Philip. You know what I mean? Like he probably has the right to do but he also can't do it because they're in the middle of trying to get DeMera. So it's like if you told him now, he'd be forced to work with Philip for a little while at least. So ironically, this would be the time to really let it out and expose the secret. But
I did have a moment where I wondered, I felt like Xander was pouring this whole Philip Stephanie thing on a little thick. I was like, wait a minute. It just pinged me. I was like, wait, does Xander know everyone? And he's just he's playing his own game with this, and it may not come out until. So, in my mind, because I have nothing but time on my hands to think, I watched it. I thought, oh, maybe he is secretly doing something behind the scenes that nobody else knows about for himself in this whole DeMera Titan takeover thing. But in order to do that, he found out the letter was forged. He knows everyone's keeping the secret. But in order to get whatever he's trying to get for himself, he has to play along with it. And so that's why, because we're like, why is Xander like gossiping about who's sleeping with whoever? Like, why did it's not really. I mean, it's in Xander's character, I guess, but it just made me think like, why is he doing this? And the reason I thought, because I read a story about a sitcom cast reunion, and one of the actors was trying to get a deal for themselves, and it made the whole reunion fall through. And I was like, oh, maybe that's what Xander's doing with DeMera. He's trying to get something for himself, but then he has to play along with this game. But
I wouldn't be surprised. I actually kind of did get that inkling too, because they were laying it on thick. Like Xander's so worried about Alex, and he's so invested in this. And I was like, why does he care so? Why is this coming from him so hard? Really, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And so I did think, part of me was like, oh, does he know? And he's like baiting them, kind of a thing. Will it be like, a couple of months from now, we'll get a flashback to like he overheard Sarah or Philip or something. How they.
I envision. The DeMera takeover happened. They throw a big party. Xander decides to make a toast. And in that toast, he reveals he knows everything. And in fact, he is like now the sole owner of DeMera Titan, or whatever the
conglomerate.
Whatever the conglomerate becomes.
I would kind of like that. Because I was thinking
that would take Xander back to like who he kind of truly is. Like not all the way back to like assassin, but devious, cunning, selfish. But also getting back at the people that have wronged him.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. Because I was thinking it's either that he might know something, or they're really trying to play into the like Xander really wants a family. He's trying to bring all the Kyriakises together. He's enjoying this camaraderie with the guys. Like, I mean, I guess it can go either way, but no, I kind of like the theory that he knows more than he's letting on.
Yeah. But, it could be like Caroline is saying, he could just be clueless and just really, really leaning into the new Xander.
Yeah, right.
So, we'll see how it plays out. I do think we're at the point where this merger needs to move along. Like, I'm waiting for something to happen with it. Like, it's been talked about. They met with the Big Shin.
Yep.
What's his name? I keep wanting to say Li Shin, but I know it's not Wei Shin, right? Wei Shin. Yes, that's absolutely right. Something needs to happen with this. And you keep the DeMera situation is not getting any better.
Yeah. Like, it's so distracted.
This is like prime, like the prime point. They're all distracted. Like, this is the time you swoop in and get it. And they're fighting about this bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
speaking of the DeMeras, as we move on to them, and our next topic is everyone still hates EJ. They have been hating him for the past 6 weeks and mounting and building up. Everyone is pinning a target on him.
Yeah, and I never believed for a second that Johnny was gonna impale his father with that giant bagel, giant knife to cut what were they, croissants, bagels?
Yeah.
I was like, that's an aggressive knife.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a knife put out like that to cut some bagels. But that's how Paulina rolls in the house of Paulina Price. House of Price. Price House. Price Town, whatever. Like, I could just see in Price Town that giant ass knife. It's like a bagel cutter.
$4.99. Yeah.
$4.99.
I did love that scene though. That was a good scene with EJ and Johnny.
Oh yeah.
And EJ kind of not, I guess, giving an excuse, but trying to explain, last 20 something years of history between him and his mom, or him and Johnny's mom. Yeah.
Yeah, and how, like, that what he did wasn't, that Sammy eventually forgave him. So why shouldn't Johnny? But yeah, not yet, EJ. You should have given this like a month before. But he's a father. He's desperate. They do have that father-son relationship that's been severed. So I guess I can see why he would want to try. But at the same time, read the room, EJ. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also feel like Johnny is still in a state of like everything's in it going, my dad did this, my mom forgave him, like how it gives you a different perspective on your childhood and your parents and what they're capable of. And it's a lot. Carson, they've been playing these scenes beautifully.
Well, yeah, they continued, they had the big scenes last week. Continued to work really well, really well off of each other.
Then we have, I think you're breaking
that scene where Johnny like slammed his hand down, like, because the scene was oh, hello.
Yep, I can hear you.
Am I losing my internet again?
Yeah, we're breaking up a little bit, freezing. It's okay. Can you hear us now? Okay, guys, I think we lost Michael for a minute, but no worries. We're going to continue on with this topic. We had the EJ weird sort of run in with Kristen where he's, he's kind of, but not really admitting that he took Rachel and, now that she's gone, he's sort of doesn't have anyone to testify. Melinda is sort of there. Kind of taking this all in, being surprised, but not really, because she knows EJ shenanigans, we'll say. But yeah, we had that back and forth with them. What do you guys in the chat think about EJ taking taking Rachel and kind of holding her hostage as a way to get out of jail? Typical EJ. Can't wait for Sammy to show up. What is everyone saying? Paulina is out for blood. Yes, she is. We're going to go over that in a second. But yeah, what do you guys think of EJ taking Rachel and sort of taunting Kristen with it? Random girl says it sucks. Jen says, always the EJ, the EJ defender, gotta do what you gotta do. Yes, Jen. Oh, we got a few. I think Ava should turn Rachel in. Oh God, we're gonna get to that in a second. What else? We got EJ's EJ from Debbie Bright. We got Jen with typical EJ. And then, of course, and I agree with you fully. This is crazy here where, Here, Rachel should have known better than to taunt EJ. That was, a big mistake on her part. And then Christian Meanwhile, is he holding her hostage though? Or is she on a mandatory vacation in the Bahamas? Hey, Michael's back. Can we? Nope, he's not back. He's still freezing.
Am I back? Can you hear me?
Okay, we got audio from Michael. Yeah. I think we officially got you back. We can see you now. No audio.
Okay, I have like I said, I have blinking lights. I have blinking lights on my modem. I don't know what they mean.
No problem. I think the audio may be
just
going.
Going, Justin.
Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm having a lively discussion with the chat here. We're going. So yeah. Okay, Michael's having some technical difficulty, so we're just gonna keep going. Chat, help me out here. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Yes, he's sort of taunting her. Melinda is there. What do we think of Kristen's threat? I feel like, of course, they're setting all this up for the inevitable we've all seen in the preview, especially the fall preview that we got at Day of Days that we're gonna get in a Who Shot EJ storyline coming up. So I feel like they're slowly have been progressing the last few weeks with giving us valid reasons as to why these people may want to basically pop a bullet in EJ for everything that he's done. And we saw that again, of course, this week with Kristen and Rachel. Here we got from Al Gregor, EJ's playing with fire, kidnapping Kristen's mother. He definitely is. As usual, from Vicky, EJ's doing what he has to do to stay out of jail, even against his own family. He definitely is. From Victoria, Mother Blake was sent to Italy or something. Yeah, we haven't got confirmation of where she is. We know that she's off somewhere. What's her name? Rita sort of helped dispose of her. We know that Rita also helped dispose of Arnold. We still don't know where he is actually, or if he is alive. We figured that will come back at some point. Jen says she's on DeMera Island. That she might actually be on DeMera Island, sort of being held captive. So, yeah.
Justin, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yes.
Am
I think you're good now.
Okay, I'm hotspotting off my phone since my
right.
lovely internet that I pay money for every month has decided, of all times, to go out now. So
yeah,
I will hold on as long as I can. But
all right.
Where are we at?
No worries. I'm just talking about EJ and Kristen sort of going back and forth about the fact that he took Rachel and Melinda sort of in the background, sort of getting all this tea at once, sort of.
Oh, exactly. And it's kind of that moment where if you were Melinda, you were like, oh God, what did I get myself into? Like sibling rivalry coupled with kidnapping and kidnapping someone's mom. Messy.
Yes. What else part of this storyline? We had AJ, Kristen, Melinda. We talked about Johnny. We had Chanel and Paulina sit down with Amy Choi, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Did this go sort of how you thought it would?
I was happy that Mrs. Choi was like, she was on board. Mm-hmm. And obviously the bad timing of the article, which I completely forgot about. I completely forgot that Chad okayed Leo to do this story because that was dropped last week or the week before?
Or 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah,
it was a while ago. We haven't heard anything about it. Then suddenly it's like, oh right, that that was kind of jarring for me. Like this article released, and then it was kind of broken up. Like then later, other people were. I would have appreciated a reveal of like. Everybody found out and like everyone like got an alert on their phone and was like, what's the like something a little more dramatic than just kind of she happened to see it or people happened to see it. But obviously now Mrs. Choi is back to, I don't want my grandchild being raised by that family. And it's not, I just get frustrated because I'm like, it should not be her decision.
I know, that's a frustrating. She's not wrong in sort of making great points. Especially like the religious stuff I'm not so keen on, but the other stuff of like, this is a bad situation or bad environment. She's got some points there. I'm actually surprised. I actually thought when she sat down and then she looked at the article, I thought the reveal was going to be she found out about the assault. So that's what I was like, oh, are they going to go there and she's going to like overhear or like, whatever way she found out, I didn't know, but I was like, oh. So I actually kind of like that she doesn't know about that yet, or that,
No. And
a little bit more private.
Yeah, I would have been surprised if that was if like the assault had been made public, because it would have only been like, who would have made that public?
That's why, I'm glad it wasn't that. Well, I was thinking maybe like she would overhear Johnny or Chanel or something like that. Yeah, she would hear them talking about it or something, kind of a thing. Yeah. So I'm glad that wasn't.
The list of EJ's, I don't know if you talked about this while I was having my difficulties, but like the suspect list.
Yeah.
It's adding to it.
Then we had Paulina sort of, I think that's where they left off, her sort of confronting him because now the adoption's called off. Chanel and Johnny are in disarray a bit. And so she's, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt that it's probably not Paulina who shot or who will shoot EJ or go after him. But yeah,
if we know our days whodunits,
I know
it's not anyone we're seeing right now.
I'm hoping they change this a bit. As you said, it's like fool me once, like fool me two. Now it's like fool me 4 times with this type of a plot, where someone gets shot or hurt. And
let us know who did it from the jump. Let the viewer know, and then the storyline can be the viewer knowing and just seeing how it plays out, and knowing this person did it but is covering it up, or that would be a different take on not really a whodunit. We know who done it. They don't know who done it.
Still, or don't let it be. I don't want it to be, some random. Sometimes it's a random person, or not random, but it's a lesser, character on the canvas, and it's like it's a weird like explanation.
No one cares about
it. Like okay,
like when they did. Back in the day when they did the whole Kristen was murdered thing, and then it wasn't Kristen. Kristen's still alive, parading around with Susan. Susan's off doing this. Oh, there's a 41st Banks triplet, twin, quadruplet that's dying, and she took one for the team because she was dying anyway to frame Kristen.
Yeah,
I was like, we went through months of storyline for this. Yeah. So I hope it's not another case like that.
No,
but we'll see.
Yeah, was there anything else left in this one? We got a little bit of Ava Brady. I like that she's sticking to her guns about this. She still feels a way about him, and again, they keep bringing this up, and it always, maybe because we've liked them together in scenes before, but they really haven't been together. Really, they haven't even slept together.
No,
they've been on like a date or two. Like, it's not a real.
This was not some long-term no, and that's how they were presenting it, and I was like, they weren't. Did I miss like?
Right.
This wasn't some great love story. They went on a couple of dates. Did they even bang once? Like, I don't even think
they haven't even slept together. So yeah. And I love the fact that
like that part didn't hit, that they were like some big giant love story of a couple, like, but I also like that she's sticking to her. It's not a good situation. She is doing who did I say should she's doing what Holly should do. We said Holly needs to remove herself from the mess. She needs to remove herself from that mess.
She's like, I'm trying to like keep I'm still also trying to keep on the straight and narrow. Like, we've seen Ava's journey from who she used to be to now. So this is like, I really do like this character development of her being like, I don't want the craziness, the mess. Like, I just want to run the bistro and like
right. And I feel like the Ava we have now is a good balance between who she was before and then Rafe's Kitchen 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. We hated her when she was that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But this is a Ava we like. She's not like 100% like domestic goddess, but she's also not killing people anymore.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
she's reformed with a little bit of an edge.
Yeah. She still will take the illegal gun from Melinda and put it in her bag. And I like the little like not taunting of EJ, but the little fake out when they were talking outside the pub and she kind of kept reaching into her bag and it was like not pulling out something it was like a clown bag. It was like big mascara came out when Brady sort of came around the corner. So like, I mean, who knows? They have her and EJ have their own history and there's no love lost there. And this, if she can't prosecute him legally, this could be her way for revenge. So
her own brand of justice.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see there. But yeah, that kind of wraps up most of our top storylines. And before we get into our tidbits, we're going to remind you to follow us on social media at Dishin Days Show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on X and Threads. Also want to encourage you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. You can also ask you to subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell, and give us a like, please. Also, a reminder, we are coming up on 6 months of our exclusive members only page. It is $4.99 for a monthly membership. Again, exclusive videos with the cast when we visit the set. We've had extended segments of mine, Those Are Days Extended, and Araceli's Tia Says. So yeah, join it. It's a really fun time and yeah, get a lot of content out of it. Remind you to go check out JLJ Media on YouTube. And last but not least, yeah, give us your comments and tell us your thoughts. Yeah, so
I want to shout out, this happened during the interview. Shout out to Crystal DW fan for gifting 5 Dishin Days memberships. To who she gifted them to, or if I don't know how that works, but
I know. Did Crystal do this last week too? Remember someone did. Someone gifted a membership last week, and we were. Yeah, and also it's actually George Blackman's George in the show. It's his birthday. Happy 52nd birthday, George. Birthday. Yeah, George, another one of our dedicated members here. Yeah.
Thank you for celebrating with us.
Absolutely.
Buy yourself a nice dinner or something.
I know, right? Hopefully you're eating something good, getting sloshed while we're running our mouths about days. And yeah, moving on to our tidbits now. First one here is game day. I'm anxiously waiting to find out what you thought of this, Michael. This was the chat.
I said it in the group chat. Tony said it too. These two need to fuck already.
I'm not changing my mind about them, but it's getting old now. This is like, I need some progression. I need something a little hotter than.
Yep.
They're still doing like the teenage meet cute thing, and it's like we're so far from that. She pretended to be your dead wife. You actually married each other and got it annulled. Like,
yeah, no, it needs to progress to the next level and soon. Because it's that you said it perfectly. This meet cute bullshit is not doing it. I support. I want them together. They what am I trying to say? They play really well off each other. They have a great chemistry. I think they go really well together. They just need to do it already. And just bang already.
This is a lot of like weird manic energy, and I was just like, oh, this is a little cringe. And also, like, someone was reading online, and someone was making fun of this plot, and they're like, really, like, the hospital is going under and Kat and Chad are going to save it with an afternoon fundraiser for an afternoon carnival fundraiser. And I was like, okay, like I get it. It's,
Do you remember when Hope and Aiden were planning? I don't remember if it was a fundraiser.
Yes,
or
it was
gala.
a fundraiser for the school, the kids' school. Yep.
All of that planning, it was the foundation of their relationship developing. And when the gala came to be, they were standing in a room and we saw 0.0% of the gala.
I know. I was like 6 months of storyline because I didn't know what to do with them.
I'm wondering if that's the kind of event we're going to get with this. If it's all of this plan, and then they'll be off for like a period of time. And when we come back to them, fundraiser's done, hospital saved. She spills more hot dogs on him and whatever. Like,
I want this to be a big like Days event thing. You know what I mean? Like I want the fundraiser. I want to see everyone at the fundraiser. I want to see the auctioning off of the men and women. I think that could be interesting to see. Oh my God, I need another.
Annette wants people. Oh, Annette wants folks to hang dong at this fundraiser. Like that's what she wants. She's gonna be like, Ollie, take the pants off.
All the talk they've done of this and saving the hospital. We need a full like benefit. We need to see the guys up. Actually, that could be interesting depending on where relationships are. Seeing people get bidded on. It's like. Who knows if Zara and Sander are together at this point? Who knows if Stephanie and Alex and Chad and Kat? Like, I think hopefully this is leading to something eventful for the show other than, a 5-second, mention of, the fundraiser was great and we made X amount of money and, we'll see.
Yeah. I think I'm still here.
Yeah,
I can you hear me? Can you see me? I had
no
Okay.
worries. I think you go ahead. No worries. I think our next topic I'll put up here. This is the search for John. This is of course Marlena and Steve, and then we got back, which was really nice to see. We got Paul and Andrew back, and then we had a little surprise at the end, which they kept this really tight. Did you see anything about this, Michael? I didn't. I was really surprised.
No, I did not see anything about this, and I'm not happy it happened because I'm over. Or I was over him the last time he came back.
Yeah,
and I'm like, this. He's another Clyde to me now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like anytime something is going wrong, it's like it's Orpheus, and we're supposed to be all surprised. And to me, it was no.
Yeah, I'm not that enthused about it. When I was surprised when I saw him, like, oh, Orpheus, like they kept it a secret, and I was like, wait, aren't you weren't you supposed to be in jail? But I was like, whatever. It's been 4 months. Maybe you got out on a good day. I don't know. You were supposed to be locked up forever, so I don't know how.
I couldn't remember, and honestly, I didn't care to go back and look. I was just like, you know what? Because even if he was in jail, they could have written it that he somehow got out and is now in Estonia, whatever, creating nuclear bombs and.
I do get the symmetry. I will say that because he technically was like John's first like villain that he faced. So I guess they're trying to do like a full circle moment here, which I get. So I don't
get they didn't need to.
They're trying to do the best they can, I guess, with circumstances here. But I know
obviously I'm gonna stay with it and see how it plays out. But I just okay, so this is how it went on Friday. I started seeing stuff on Twitter about, there's a cliffhanger at the end of Friday. Wow, I can't believe they kept that a secret. And I was like, well, I want to see what the cliffhanger is, even though I hadn't watched Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday yet. Yeah. So I literally turned on Peacock, fast forwarded it all the way to the end, watched the last act. and I literally was like, oh, for fuck's sake, turned it off. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm willing to see how it plays out, but it was just like again.
Yeah, I know.
Same reaction I have whenever Clyde came, like Clyde again.
Yeah. Like I said,
if they bring Clyde into this bullshit.
If they what?
If they bring Clyde into this bullshit. If he's part of it.
No. Yeah. They either need to...
Don't do it.
Like we've said before, if you're going to do it, just bring them on the show. Expand their characters. Like, make them the villain of the show in an interesting way then. Not this, every time we need an obstacle, they break out of jail for a month and then cause havoc and go back and then lather, rinse, repeat kind of a thing.
And I did miss the original round of Orpheus from whenever he was their foe, like in the 80s. Yeah. For me, their biggest foe was Stefano.
Yeah.
So for longer time viewers, they may be able to accept it more than I am, because Orpheus is new to me, like the past few years. We'll see. Yeah.
Only thing that could turn this around if they bring back Evan. What do we call him? Evan.
Oh, Evan Christian.
Evan Christian. Yeah. I was like, okay, if they somehow if we get him back in the mix, I'll perk up a little bit more about this storyline. But yeah, like we said, it's circumstances. They have to, they were dealt a weird hand with this storyline. So I'll give them a little bit of grace here. But it was nice to see Paul and Andrew. Mm-hmm. They sort of held.
They both look good.
I thought they were going to hold on that secret a little bit more of Andrew keeping stuff from Paul, but they sort of wrapped that up in that same episode. So it looks like they're on the hunt for John. And Marlena is left at the hotel in her spy versus spy all black outfit that they have her in to indicate she's doing espionage.
And then they leave her at the hotel. All of that, and they're like, "No, you stay here. We don't need you messing shit up. You stay here." I was like, "What a kick in the face!" She flew her ass all the way over there with y'all. You're gonna leave her in the hotel room. So she's like, "I guess I'll take a bath." I'm like, I would be pissed if I was Marlena. Like, bitch, I flew all the way over here. I'm going with you. That's my husband. That's my man in there.
I'm so with you, because as soon as they said that, I was like, but she's dressed up. She has to go. She's in
her spy uniform. I would have just been pissed, like, no matter how she was dressed, I would have been like, take the woman with you. Jesus.
I do get a kick out of that. And then she's like, oh, I guess I gotta take a bath and have rooms or something. I was like, girl, what do we do?
I mean, respect to her for, have a she night or whatever you call it. A siesta. Have a siesta. But yeah.
No, that did crack me up. I was like, she's dressed for it. She can't. She's in her all black spy outfit. She has to go now.
That's why she has to go.
Two guys. She could help them drag the two guys from the hallway that they took out.
I like how they were basically like, you'd be in the way. You need to stay here.
They're like, you have a vagina. Sorry, you can't help out with this one.
Jesus. Yeah, I was just like, wow. Okay.
Oh God, that did make me laugh. A bright spot, I guess, in the Orpheus addition to that. But yeah, moving on to our last tidbit here. This one called "Romantic Dinners." This, of course, we had a little bit of Gabby, a little bit of JJ, and then Leo and Javi, of course, here. Okay, burning question? What did you think of the food for the Leo Javi portion of this?
Shoot, I remember making a comment to myself about it. Now I can't remember what it was.
It was like pasta. I think they were eating pasta, like not rigatoni or something similar. Yeah, maybe it was rigatoni or.
I mean, I remember thinking it looked good.
Yeah, but
I did think it was
the food. Yeah.
Am I getting desensitized to the food porn? I may be getting desensitized. They may just be giving us so much that like it's normal to me.
Okay, I was offended that they let it get cold and were like, let's go have sex. We'll come back later for it.
Well, I mean, because the last thing you want to do after eating a big bowl of pasta is go do that.
I mean, yeah.
But
listen, they live together now. Deal with it.
Pasta usually heats up good, so it heats up well. Yeah.
I was like, you know what? You live together now. Like you're at a different stage of your relationship. Sometimes it's a surprise. You can't schedule out everything anymore. Not when you live together.
Colleen, Colleen says maybe it was Hamburger Helper.
No, not that.
I mean, maybe.
It looked a little better than that. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, there wasn't. I mean, we gotta.
The commentary in the chat today is cracking me up. Doug needs that food. He's homeless.
Oh, we didn't talk about. Remember when Paulina left him breakfast? It didn't know it was him.
She left him breakfast. What did she leave him? Like, it was so quick.
It was like a donut or something. They didn't show it, but it was, the Sweet Bits bag. And then she made the cut. She's like, we got to do something about the homeless in Salem.
And she gave him a donut and left. Yeah. All right. Doing more than
that
we
part did crack me up, because then Doug woke up and it was like he was on the phone and it was like, what? Like, what is this bag?
Poor guy, sleeping in thunderstorms.
Oh God! And then we had a little bit of Gabby and JJ sort of like basking in their relationship and wanting to kind of spend more time together, which I thought was sweet. Listen, he was wet and cold. He had other things on his mind.
What is you all, Lord? It's just that time in the show. We're getting slap happy. So are the people in the chat.
He was kind of crawled up on the bench too, and then she's like, "I guess I'll put it by your feet over here."
She was just like, "Sweet boy," like he was a homeless dog.
I know. Enjoy this. What does she get? All the bear claw. She's like, enjoy this bear claw. Oh
brother.
God. Well, that was your
week of days. That was your week of days.
Fucking stupid show. Oh God. Now we got to move on to our segment here. Tony and Araceli, of course, for today. So we are going to start with.
The button's too fast.
Caption that.
All right, this week's Caption That Photo comes courtesy of Sarah, Xander, and Alex. Sarah, Xander, and Alex. And this week's caption goes to Willie GZ, Willie at Willie's View Podcast Official on Instagram with his caption, "You forgot to DVR White Lotus again? Are you crazy?" Which I will follow up with a White Lotus themed caption. The brothers did what?
Right, I know.
Oh, you haven't watched White Lotus? HBO Max. Paul Telfer, always one to join into the fun, added his caption on Instagram. What do you mean you didn't recognize me without my shirt? What do you mean you didn't recognize me with my shirt on?
Paul always comes through. Always.
He always, and you know what? I secretly choose photos of him because I know he's always going to contribute.
Yeah.
So.
He's always.
I do like to spread the love, but I know Paul. I always know Paul's down for some fun. So.
Yes. And that was.
Caption that.
And now, speaking of Mr. Paul Telfer. All right, everyone. I'm taking you back to March 24th, 2015, when Xander Cook arrives in Salem and bumps into Nicole Walker. And if you are a VIP member, you will see an extended version of this where I sort of go into a little bit of a deep dive of the character of Xander, but I do it with the twist of looking at his relationships with some of the women that he's been with on the show, specifically Gwen, Chloe, and Sarah, of course. So that you can check out on our members only page if you are a paid member, $4.99 for the month again. And yeah, that was March. That was March 24th, 2015. Again, with Xander Cook arrives in Salem and bumps into Nicole Walker. Those were the days. And then we have
news and gossip.
Yes, a little casting news here. We wanted to do a big congratulations to Precious Way. If you remember, she actually originated the role of Chanel on the show. She's actually been cast in the new Tracy Morgan pilot, the one that is being produced by Tina Fey. she is will actually play Tracy's loving and supportive fiance who also wants to advance her career on the show. So yeah, big congrats to Precious. She's sort of moved on from Days and has just been a part of some really good stuff. She had that show on ABC, which she left Days for. That didn't last too long, but she's done a couple of movies since then, and now has been cast as Tracy Morgan's fiance in this pilot. So again, working with Tina Fey. So big congrats to her. She's very talented and yeah, just out there making it happen. Next up, we want to do a big sort of congratulations and happy retirement to someone you may or may not know, but this actually is Janet Drucker. She is the co-executive producer of Days of Our Lives. She's actually retiring, and she's been with Days for 40 years for the show. She started off as actually a production associate 41 years ago, and worked her way up through the ranks and has just been really great to work with. Again, executive producer of the show. She's one of only 4 women to hold the title in the show's 61 years now. So we just want to offer a big happy retirement to Janet. And if you'll notice,
much deserved retirement.
Yeah,
40 years.
We have a lot of actors on. Sometimes they'll name drop Janet if you don't know her. Tina did earlier in the interview. I'm talking about Janet. So yeah, she's been a loyal sort of behind the scenes person of Days of Our Lives, and again worked her way up through the ranks. And yeah, so we just want to wish her a big happy retirement. Yeah. Next up, we have some online information. And speaking of, again, Mr. Paul Telfer, this is his week. He celebrated his 10th year anniversary with Days. And then if you go on Days social media at Days Peacock, they put together this really just beautiful, sort of sweet, kind of loving, really funny clip package of all the actors sort of sitting down talking about their experience working with Paul, just him as an actor, him as a person. It's really, really sweet, really well done. And of course, this is Lindsay Arnold heading it off here with something funny, of course, when Pauline Elizabeth Telfer, that is his name according to Lindsay there. But yeah, go check it out. His what?
His full name, his government name, his full name.
Yes, his government name. So go check that out. Again, Paul is a dear friend. Just big congrats to him on 10 years with the show. He's, again, big friend of the show and really loves connecting with fans especially. So yeah, go and check that out. Really, really well deserved. Yeah. Then next up, we have Louis Tamio, who plays Aaron on the show. He kind of sat down in honor of Women's History Month, sat down to kind of give praise to 2 of his favorite actresses on the show, Annalyn McCord and Lindsay Arnold. Annalyn McCord, no big surprise there, but then he sort of goes into Lindsay on the show, who he actually admits he has not worked with yet, but is just a big fan of her talent and her work. And yeah, kind of gives those 2 women some really great praise. Just sort of being in their presence and working with them and just being on the show with them. So yeah, go check out that video again at Days Peacock. Then we have a birthday Raven Bowen celebrated this past week. Want to give her a big birthday shout out. And then she also has, I think we may have talked about this a while ago on the show, but the organization Cause Closet, she actually did a VIP collection with them. And what they do is they get celebrities to sort of comb through their closet in clothing that has been maybe moderately worn, and they sort of donate that to raise money for a particular charity. And people can go online at causecloset.org, and you can actually pick up items that are literally direct from Raven's closet, along with other ones. I think Carson Boatman does it as well. His wife Jelana, and I think there's a couple other actors from Days who on it. But if you go to causecloset.org, you can pick out former clothes from their own closet, and then the proceeds will go to a charity of their choice. In this case, Raven's charity is the Katori Hamilton Foundation. So again, go to causecloset.org. You can check out the pieces. They're actually really nice. So go check them out and make pickups. And if you actually pick up some, let us know. Drop us a line. Send us a picture of you in the outfit or dress or coat or bag or whatever the item is. We definitely like to see how that worked out. But yeah, can check that out. And then we have our reminders this week. Of course, the day players are coming up. They are continuing their tour. They have, of course, Oklahoma City, they have Addison, Texas, Albany, Pottstown, and they actually just announced a new date. They're actually going to be in San Diego at the end of June this coming year. So go check them out. And of course, for our Canadian fans, their Toronto show that they announced a couple weeks ago, happening on September 6th of this year. All tickets and information, you can go to thedayplayersband.com. Yes, and then of course we have our Pan-Can Walk we've been telling you about. This is the Hoagie Home Runners, which will be taking place on Saturday, April 26th at the Santa Monica Pier in honor of Drake Hogerson. It is chaired by Martha Madison, Dan Firgol, and Eric Martzoff. All tickets and information, or donations and information, I should say, you can go to Martha's social media at Marth27. If you're in LA, we urge you to come out and walk. We will be there. I'm sure a dozen other a lot of the day's actors behind the scenes and in front of the camera, I'm sure will be there. So it'll just be a really great time to
if you're in LA and are going to go, or if you're flying here, I know of at least one fan, Jen, that is flying here to participate in it. And maybe we can do a group walk if you want to join us in our walk or whatever, or a meetup or something. If you're coming, let us know.
Yeah, this will be a really great cause. And also, if you're not in town or in LA, there actually will be Pan-Can will be doing walks all across the country. So there may be, in fact, be a walk near you that you can participate in, either by yourself or even part of the Hoagie's Home Runners. So if you are doing that, also send us a picture of you in your shirt or you during the walk. We'd love to sort of highlight that and show some photos of different people who are walking around the country. So yeah. Again, all information for that to donate and to get information at Marth27 on Instagram. Then we have our Star Image events. We have our cocktail Q&A Zoom. This one, Martha Madison and Dan Firgol. This one happening on this coming week on April 2nd. Then, of course, we have our summer concert and dance party. This one is the weekend of June 20th to the 21st. This one taking place in Montreal, Canada. And then for that Day Players Band, the one in Toronto we mentioned about a couple minutes ago, that one they're actually teaming up with Star Image. So you can also get tickets and information through Star Image on this one. And again, all tickets and information for all of these events, you can go to eventbrite.com/Star Image Entertainment. And then we have our Starstruck fan event, which is happening next weekend. This is the Cinco de Derby event. It takes place April 5th through 6th. This one is at the Meadowlands Racetrack in New Jersey. And all tickets and info, you can go to starstruckfanevents.com. And then last but not least, we have our Samantha and Friends events, the Winter Wonderland Charity Fundraiser Gala we've been telling you about, taking place the weekend of May 3rd through 4th of this year. Then we have the Haunted Mansion, taking place the weekend of September 13th and 14th of this year. And all tickets and info, you can go to samanthaandfriends.org. And that about wraps up.
There we go.
News and gossip.
And before we go, we want to give you a little preview of what's coming up next on Days of Our Lives.
A surprise request.
Jada, what can I do for you? I want you to help me nail EJ DeMera.
A reveal.
Jada doesn't deserve any of this. She's got a huge heart. Just want her to be happy. Sean, do you have feelings for Jada?
The return of a villain.
Orpheus.
Hello, Marlena. Been a while.
And someone gets revenge.
The number of people in this town with a reason to take a shot at EJ could fill Horton Town Square.
Who knows what we're capable of?
Okay, so we're getting it next week. All right. I wasn't sure when it was going to happen since we've been they previewed it 6 months ago.
EJ?
Yeah, the EJ stuff. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it happens this week.
Okay, so yeah, we will definitely have a lot to talk about next week.
I thought Belle and Jada were friends. So why is Belle answering the door like, bitch, what you want?
Oh, because I think she found out Jada spilled about her and EJ. She found out about it. So yeah, there's probably some tension there.
Got it. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, that was our show this week. Thank you for hanging with us. We want to give a special thank you for Tina Huang for coming on.
Yeah.
Kind of hanging with us and putting up with our shenanigans. Really great to have her on. Tina's a dear friend and big supporter of ours. So it was great to finally have her on the show and
such great energy
from her a bit. Yeah.
Lovely human being.
Always great with her. Yeah. But before we get out of here, Michael, you can find us at No, it's okay. I can do this. Where can we find you at?
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter X at MLMattis.
You can find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld. You can find Araceli on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli. You can find Tony everywhere at Lounging with Tony. And you can find all of us on our social media at Dishin Days Show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on X and Threads. Yes, thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week. Thanks,
Apologies
everyone.
for the technical difficulties of all of the weeks for my internet not work. It was the show. There's only two of us, of course, but we made it.
You know what? At least it held up for the most part through the interview.
Yeah, it did. And thank God for phone hotspotting. So thank you, Verizon.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. See you
Bye,
next
guys.
week. Bye.
Okay, I'm coming.